What's up, YouTube? What's up? I want to do my own video on George Mikan and a shout out to Two Raw for Sports because he was talking about he did this a while back where George Mikan doesn't get any love, and I wanted to talk about it because I looked up who's the greatest white centers ever. Yeah, they got lists for everything, and I wanted to see if the disrespect, and lo and behold, did they have it? Now this man George Mikan, 7 year career, 5 championships, scoring title, league MVP, All Star, etc., etc. But they had him third. They had Djokovic one and Bill Walton two. I kid you not. I kid you not. He had a better career than both those guys put together, but he was number three. The question is, how come George Mikan doesn't get more love? Now, he was big in the late 40s, early 50s. It's commercialism. You know, you always hear America built for white players and athletes, etc., and that's all true. But there's something about a big man that they couldn't market and put money. And you would think associate with the Lakers, but it was Minneapolis. But still, it doesn't get the same. He doesn't get the same half the notoriety as Jerry West and Larry Bird do. Just doesn't. It's a trip, but it's the truth. I was looking at George Mikan's situation: 23 and 11, 23 points, 11 rebounds, and what he was, and everything. And I thought, you know what? The sport wasn't respected. He actually this is a trip when you think about it because he paid a price for being a tall white center in the NBA, where you always they want somebody with more style. So this is where they have a problem with the Samson, the whole Goliath Samson and Goliath situation, where they always do this to black centers and black guards. Well, they did it to white as well, but what is the situation here where they don't talk about George Mikan? Because if Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio are romanticized, then Mikan should be too. He played for the premier team and he had premier stats. So what's the problem? And of course, I did some, checking out, some investigating. There was never anything that he ever said anything that was offensive that was reported. As a matter of fact, Shaquille O'Neal paid for his services when he transitioned. Keep that in mind. So he thought a lot of George Mikan. So that must have been, it's these things that you don't hear about, don't know about, but they're interesting why they're not talking about it. Why he doesn't get more trajectory. Now, I understand he was dominant in the Jim Crow era NBA, and Earl Lowe was the first African American player in 1950. I get that, which is surprising because Ty Cobb gets all this love, Walter Johnson gets all this love, Babe Ruth gets all this love. So what was the NBA?